Welcome back, aspirants. The topic that we are going to cover today are the fundamental rights. For better understanding, I have divided the topic into different subparts. First, we will understand what fundamental rights are. Then we will go through their history, their examples, and the importance for fundamental rights. Then we will understand the challenges and what we can do to protect fundamental rights. Lastly, I will conclude the topic. Now, gentlemen, what are fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are the basic rights that every individual is entitled to, regardless of their race, gender, religion, or nationality. These rights include freedom of speech, religion, and assembly, as well as right to fair trial and the right to privacy. The concept of fundamental rights has been developed over centuries with roots in ancient civilizations such as Greece and Rome. Today, fundamental rights are recognized by many nations around the world and are enshrined in the international law through treaties and conventions. Now, the history of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, also known as human rights, are rights that are inherent to all human beings regardless of their nationality, ethnicity, or religion. The concept of fundamental rights can be traced back to ancient civilizations such as Greece and Rome, where philosophers like Plato and Aristotle argued that certain rights were essential for human dignity and well-being. However, it wasn't till the Enlightenment era in the 18th century that fundamental rights become a central part of political discourse. Thinkers like John Locke and Jean Rousseau argued that individuals had natural rights that could not be taken away by the state. These ideas influenced the American and French revolutions, which enshrined fundamental rights in their respective constitutions. Now let us go through the examples of fundamental rights. First is the right to equality. This right ensures equality before the law and prohibits discrimination based on religion, race, sex, caste, or place of birth. It includes the right to equality of opportunity in matters of public employment, the abolition of untouchability, and prohibition of titles. Secondary is the right to freedom. This right guarantees several freedoms, including the freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, and residence. It also includes the right to practice any profession, occupation, or trade, subject to reasonable restrictions imposed on the interest of public order, morality, or the sovereignty and integrity of India. Then, the right to exploitation. The rights prohibit human trafficking, forced labor, and child labor. It ensures that no person can be compelled to work without payment or against their will. Right to freedom of religion. This right grants individuals the freedom of practice, profess, and propagate any religion of their choice. It also protects the freedom of religious institutions to manage their affairs and properties. Then, the cultural and educational rights. These rights protect the rights of minorities to conserve their district language, script, and culture. They are also ensure the minorities have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Lastly is the right to constitutional remedies. This right empowers individuals to seek legal remedies of the Supreme Court for enforcement of their fundamental rights. It is considered the cornerstone of Indian Constitution as it ensures that fundamental rights are not just symbolic but can be effectively enforced. Now, the importance of fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are the cornerstone of any democratic society. They provide individuals with the freedom and expression of themselves, worship as they choose, and participate in the political progress. Without these rights, individuals would be at the mercy of those in power, unable to speak and against injustice or hold their leaders accountable. Moreover, fundamental rights are essential for promoting social cohesion and stability. When individuals are able to freely express themselves and engage in public discourse, they are more likely to feel invested in their communities and work together towards common goals. This sense of unity is critical for building strong, resilient societies that can weather difficult times. Now, the different challenges to fundamental rights. One of the biggest challenge is government censorship. In many countries, government has the power to control what information their citizens can access. This can range from blocking website and social media platform to censoring news articles and books. Such censorship can limit freedom of expression which is a fundamental right in many societies. Another challenge for fundamental rights is discrimination. Discrimination can take many forms, including racism, sexism, and homophobia. When individuals are discriminated against, they may not have equal access to education, employment, or healthcare. This can violate their fundamental rights to equality and non-discrimination. Now, protecting fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are essential for the protection and individual liberties and freedom. Legal framework also plays a very crucial role in safeguarding these rights by establishing clear guidelines and consequences for those who violate them. Activism is also an important tool in protecting fundamental rights as it allows individuals to raise awareness and advocate for change. Legal frameworks can take many forms, such as constitutional protection, human rights treaties, or the international law. These frameworks provide a basis for holding government accountable and ensuring that fundamental rights are respected. Activism can also take many forms, by peaceful protest to social media campaigns. By raising awareness and mobilizing public support, activists can bring attention to issues and pressures government to take action. Now, in conclusion, the fundamental rights are essential for individuals and society as a whole. They provide us with the freedom to express ourselves, practice our beliefs, and assemble peacefully without fear of prosecution. These rights have evolved over time and faced many challenges such as government censorship, discrimination, but they remain crucial for just and fair society. It is important that we protect these rights through legal frameworks and activism. We must hold our governments accountable for upholding these rights and fight against any attempts to undermine them. By doing so, we can ensure that everyone has the opportunity to live their life free of oppression and discrimination. Lastly, thank you for watching, and if you learned something new, like the videos and make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you never miss relevant updates. Also, check out our other videos and feel free to comment down any suggestions on how we can improve our content.